Good morning, everyone. So, in our last class, we studied the entity relationship diagram for a simple example of our college database. Today, we shall take up the company database, so which is in our syllabus, and try to write its ER diagram. So if you can observe here, the various tables or relations present in the company database are employee, department, department locations, project, works on, and dependent. So employee will have attribute first name, middle name, last name, his social security number, birth date, address, salary, department number. So if you observe here, here is one more attribute, that is the super SSN. This indicates the SSN of the supervisor of this particular employee. And D number indicates the department number in which the employee is working. And in department, name of the department, department number, SSN of the manager of this department. So again, this SSN will come from employee table and the date from which the manager has started working. Then each department can be located in multiple locations. So in order to capture that information, a separate table is present. So its attribute is department number and location. So if you observe here, together it is a prime attribute or key attribute. So this indicates the combination of the number and location should be unique. So this department location is a multi-valued attribute of department. So since this particular location is a multi-valued attribute, it is spawned out of the department table and has been created as a separate relation. Then we have the project relation. So the various attributes here, it is the name of the project, project number, location of the project, and department. So for each project, it will belong to a particular department, and one department can have any number of projects. Works on. So this is the relationship between the employee and a project. So the SSN of the employee and the project number and how many hours this employee works on this particular project. So one employee can work on any number of projects and each project can have any number of employees. So these two together form the prime attribute. So dependent, so this is the dependent of the employee. So in order to identify the employee, SSN is used, name of the department, dependent, and their details will be present. So together they form the key attribute. So with this information, now let us write the entity relationship diagram for this company database. So first let us look at the employee. So the relation employee is mentioned in the rectangular box over here, and then the various attribute is the SSN. Then so if you observe here, name attribute includes these three things, right? So name has first name, middle, and last. So a name can be divided into three parts. So then such an attribute is called as composite attribute. So an attribute composed of several atomic parts. So this is an example for composite attribute. So name is written over there, address, salary, all those details are present. And SSN is the prime attribute. That's why it is indicated with the underline. So here address also we can represent it as a multi-valued attributes. Again, that depends on the application and the designer. We can also represent this address as a multi-valued attribute. And here for each employee there is a manager or super SSN. So this person acts as a manager of this employee. So there is a relationship between one employee and another employee. So that relationship is mentioned over here, that is the supervision. So the relationship is represented in a rhombus symbol and the name of the relation is a supervision, and there is a link. So in this particular relation, two employees will participate. So one employee entity will act as a supervisor, another employee will act as a supervisee. So those two roles are written over here. So this is an example of a recursive relationship where an entity is related to another entity of the same type. Okay. So if you observe here, there is a number indicated over here. So here employee acting as a supervisor and employee acting as a supervisee. So now if you look at this, so we can alternatively, for our understanding, we can simply write like this. So supervisor is the one role. Okay. So another role is the supervisee. Supervise. So this is the two roles. So that is one role. Now if you want to establish a relationship, so how we would have written? So we would have written something like this. So supervise is here like this. So now let us see how to write these kind of number. So how many supervisors will be there for one supervisee, or for an employee how many supervisors will be there? One. So that one will indicate on the opposite side, right? Over here we will write one. So this is for one employee there will be one supervisor. So that's why the number 1 will appear over here. Next, for one supervisor, how many employees will be under him? So that we will mention on the opposite side of the relation. So one person can act as a supervisor for any number of employees. So that's why we will write N over here. Now come back to this diagram. So supervisor role is here, supervisee is here. So we will write 1 on this side and N on the other side. So just like similarly how we have written over here. So 1 here, N over here. So like this. So this is how we write the cardinality ratios in the relationship. So next, let us write for the department table. So in department table, so the various attributes are department name, department number. So number is over here, name is here. Then manager SSN we have to write, and start date. So these two attributes belong to the relationship. So the relationship will be with the employee table. So those things will write as part of the relationship. Then department location. So actually, if we extend this particular table, location we would have written here itself. But one department can exist in multiple location. So since a department can present in more than one location, so this entire thing is divided and the department is split into two tables, that is department and department location. So since this is a location is a multi-valued attribute, all the multi-valued attributes will split it in another table. So we'll indicate the multi-valued attribute like this with double ellipse. So next, let us look at the relationship between the department and employee. So this part we have discussed. This part also we have discussed. Now the relationship between the department and employee. So there are two relationships between the department and employee. One is in the employee table, we have a department number. So here this particular one indicates this employee works in this particular department. And when we look at the department table, there is one more manager SSN, which means it is an employee ID. So this indicates that this employee will be the manager of this particular department. So just like in college database, each department will have a HOD. So and HOD happens to be an employee, and each employee belongs to a department. So like that. So employee works for department. So this is one relation. Employee works for department. And another relation is an employee manages a particular department. So here it is the manager role and here it is the employee belonging to a department. So now this relationship, let us indicate. So manager SSN will come from the employee. So that is through this particular relationship, and manager start date is the additional attribute of the relationship. So if you observe here, so it is written like this. Here it is the start. For this manager's relation, the start date is the attribute. And for a department, we can write a derived attribute, that is the number of employees in that department. So all the derived attributes, whatever we want in the application, so we can indicate it using the dotted ellipse. So like this, any number of derived attributes we can write. So number of employees of a department is mentioned over here. So now let us consider the cardinality ratios now. So employee manages a particular department, that is the manager. So one manager, which means an employee is acting as a manager. So one manager can manage how many departments? So that number we will write it over here. So one employee manages only one department. Next, so how many departments or how many managers a department will have? So that we will be writing it over here. So that is again 1. So each department is managed by one manager, and one manager manages one department. So both the values are 1 over here. So similarly, let us look at the works for relationship. So one employee entity can work in how many departments? So they can work in one department. So that's why the number over here is 1. And one department can have how many employees? So that is n. So that's why n is written over here. So whenever we want to indicate the cardinality ratios like this, so we have to define these kind of statements. One department, how many employees? One employee, how many departments? So that numbers we have to indicate. So one manager, how many departments? One department, how many managers? So like that we need to ask the question ourselves and write these numbers. So this is about the attributes and the cardinality ratios. Now, if you observe, there is a double line over here. So this double line indicates total participation. So what is total participation? So total participation means the entity must fully participate in a relationship in order to exist. Now, so each department will compulsorily have a manager. So which means all the department entities should have a manager, and therefore they all must participate in the managers relation. So that's why this is a double line, which means all the department entities are present in the managers relationship. On the other side, does all the employees act as managers? So the answer is no. So all employees need not be present in this particular relationship because all the employees will not act as a managers. So that's why it is a single line, whereas this double line indicates it is the total participation. So similarly, on the other side, all the employees should work for the department, any one of the department. So which means it is a total participation. And from the other side also, it is the total participation, which means all the employees, all the departments will have some employees. So that is minimum one employee must be must be present in a department. So which means all the departments will have employees, and all the employees should work for one or the other department. So from both the sides, it is the total participation. So again, all those things are the constraints, are the scenarios for this company database that the users will define. So according to our assumption and the statements of the database, we have to write the diagram. So here, with these assumptions, the author is writing the ER diagram for this. So next, let us look at the other table. So that is the dependent table. So here, the dependent, so name, date of birth, all those attributes are there from the dependent. So here if you observe this particular dependent, so it is present inside a double rectangle. So this indicates it is a weak entity type. So in yesterday's class we studied weak entity type. So an entity is said to be weak if and only if its existence depend on its participation in a relationship. So we will have a dependent row only and only if it belongs to a employee. So employee dependents, here it is present. So one employee will have how many dependents? So that is n. And one dependent belong to how many employees? So that we will write it over here, that is 1. So the cardinality ratios 1 and n will be present over here, right? So one employee n can have n number of dependents, and dependent will belong to only one employee. So like that. So since this is a weak entity type, it is written in the double rectangle, and this relationship is also mentioned as a so this is a identifying relationship. So this double rhombus indicates it is a identifying relationship. So a weak entity relation is always mentioned as a identifying relationship. So wherever this kind of weak entities are there, so we will mention the its corresponding relationship inside a double rhombus. So let us see the next uh, relation which we had is a project. Okay, so project is over here. So project will have a name, number, location. So each project will have a employee. So that is again total participation. So that is all the employees must work on some project, and each project must have an employee. So that's why it is a total participation indicating double arrows. And works on was the relationship is the hours. That is we had a project number, uh, ESSN and hours. So hours is the attribute of the relationship. So that's why it is mentioned over here. Now, cardinality. So one employee can work in n number of projects, and one project can have any number of employees. So we'll use one more word, that is variable, that is m. So here we need to use different variables. So if we have used n over here, some other alphabet will use to indicate it. So it is m. So similar way, so each project is controlled by or comes under a department. So a department controls project. So one department can control n number of projects, and each project must belong to one department. So that's why the number 1 and n is written over here. So this is the complete entity relationship diagram of the company database. So these diagrams you will have to write for all the laboratory experiments as well as for your mini projects. So by practice you can write these kind of diagrams. So again, whenever we are writing the ER diagram, it is completely dependent on the assumptions of the database. So if you are creating a database, you will make some assumptions. So based on that, you need to write the ER diagram. So there is no correct or incorrect ER diagrams. The only thing is how you assume it and what notations you are going to use to represent your assumptions. So another alternative representative for this the same ER diagram is this. So here the only difference between this one and the previous one is the presence of the cardinality in a pair. That is a we can write minimum and maximum also. So so an employee can either supervise 0 or n, or there will be 0 or one supervisor for a employee. So all those things, the minimum and the maximum relational instances that an entity can participate in is written inside a parenthesis. So again, this is uh, dependent on our assumptions. So here 1 comma 1 indicates, so one project must belong to one department. So one employee can work on n number of projects. So that is 1n over here. So like that again, here one employee, one department. So one department, 4 employees are n. So each employee can manage 0 or 1 departments. So one manager, one department. So like this, so we can write the minimum and the maximum possible values over here. So this is the alternative ER notation. So next, a relationship, uh, if there are two relations are being involved, then it is called as a binary relationship. If three tables are related, then it is called as a ternary relation. So similarly, if n number of tables are involved in the relationship, then it is called as a n array relationship. So we can establish the subclasses and superclasses in the entity types. So depending on the application, so we can form this kind of relationship. So just like the inheritance concept which you have studied in the object oriented programming. So employee becomes the superclass and the specific type, secretary, engineer, technician, salaried employee, hourly employee. So the nature of the employee can be mentioned as a subclass. So if such things are represented, so the notation for them will be like this: a superclass, then this will be a small circle, then followed by the subclasses are mentioned over here. So every entity that is a member of the subclass is also a employee. So which means if he is a salaried employee, then it indicates, so that is a employee entity also. So if an entity belongs to salaried employee, then that entity belongs to employee also. So this is just like a uh, parent and child class relationship. So if we can represent the entire thing like this, so then the notation that we use is this union symbol on this particular relationship. So employee, manager, here an employee, then here it is the division or as subgroup. So secretary, technician, engineer. So each of these subclasses can have their attribute. So secretary attribute is the typing speed, technician it is a grade, engineer type of the engineer. So like that, each subclass can have their own attribute also. So that is mentioned like this. So another set is the employee, hourly employee, salaried employee. So hourly employee belongs to a trade union. So like that, we can mention the subclasses also depending on our application. So with this example, uh, we can stop today's class. So tomorrow we shall discuss the same subclass relationship, generalization and specialization. So with that, uh, we will be winding the first module. So yesterday I had sent the link to download the Oracle software, which even I had shared previous week also. So those who have the system, download it, and by watching the supported YouTube video, so you can uh, install it. Okay, so for working with Oracle, you don't need internet. Once you download, so then internet is not required. And so that particular software, that is, it is of 32-bit. So 32-bit softwares are compatible with 64-bit also. But if you download the 64-bit version of the Oracle, then it will not be uh, installed, or it will not work with 32-bit system. So that's why, so I had given you the link of a 32-bit software so that it works on all the systems. So before Thursday you install it, so those who are having the systems, so that from Thursday we can do the programming exercises, where we will create the table, insert the data, and few simple queries we can do it. Okay, so that's it for today. So you can enter your attendance in the chat box, and you can exit.